And you mentioned that you had a lot of hardships along the way too, like just growing up, and it was like reaching this stage wasn't an easy path, right? And that is something that is still true for many students today. Like that's hardships, like regardless of where you were born in like a century ago or like today, you're still gonna be facing a different, maybe a different kind of hardship, but still hardships to reach to the level where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So knowing like being a chancellor, I'm sure you're familiar with all the hardships that today's generation and the students today face. If you had a chance to meet one of the students today who's just going through a tough time or has a lot of hardships going on in their life, regardless of what they could be, what would you tell them to let them see the light of the end of the tunnel?
Well, we try to approach this not just on that random student who might approach me about the hardship they're having. We look at this as a cohort across the whole university.
Right.
That is why we started things like the Illinois Commitment, because we knew for far too many students they wouldn't even bother to apply to this university because the optic was it cost too much.
Mm-hmm.
All they saw was the sticker price for tuition. They actually didn't understand what it actually cost. And so we decided to create a strategy that for about 30% of our first year class each year is a recipient of free tuition and fees to attend this university. If they come from a family of $67,100 or less, they get free tuition and fees. So that takes part of the worry, take part of the obstacle that many students have had to face in terms of the issue of affordability. That's necessary, but it's not sufficient. I think you may be aware we're partnering with a nonprofit called Hope Chicago. I sit on their board of directors. We were one of the first anchor institutions they asked us about joining, and that involves 5 public schools in Chicago public school system where over the course of the next decade, the goal is to educate 25 to 30,000 students debt-free. And so that is the major obstacle to pursuing an education. And this hypothetical student that I would meet that hasn't had the benefit of having a tuition-free education, that changes a lot of things for a lot of students because access and affordability is the biggest issues that all of our students face. And we're very, very proud of the fact that we haven't just sat on the sideline for this issue. We created the Illinois Commitment. We created the Illinois Promise. This is a full ride scholarship. And now we're partnering with Chicago Public Schools and a guy named Peter Cadence, who's the impetus for the philanthropist who started this whole thing to really create a debt-free education for thousands of students, and so that we're doing our part to keep education accessible and affordable. And I can tell you some of the most gratifying work that I've been involved in, because at the end of the day, that is the major barrier is affordability. And access to an amazing education at an affordable price is something we care greatly about, and it's one of the reasons we are spending about $50 million more now than we were spending 6 years ago when I came here to provide greater financial aid to a broader array of students. So that's what gets us excited, and that is one of the reasons that at this juncture, we're not where we need to be. But one of the little known facts is the fact that about 54% of our students today graduate with zero debt. A lot of people don't understand that, 54%. And the ones that do graduate with debt is a fraction of what the national average is. Our students graduate with just slightly between $23,000 to $24,000 in debt. And I don't call that debt, I call that an investment in a life-changing experience that's going to pay dividends for decades to come. And so that's what we're doing in order to try to keep education accessible and affordable. That's a big part of what we've invested our time and our energy into doing that, at the same time maintaining the optics that this is a world-class university. You get a world-class education here, you can go out and change the world.